wise guy and then make a puzzle people. I think that would be quite effective. And a terrible.
Yep, camera's on. Hey, 1% Nation, welcome back to another Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time live stream. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Turkey Day to all of us who are in the States, in America. I don't necessarily believe. I think this holiday is a little interesting. That I don't know really why we actually celebrate it. It's a funny one if you read about the history. It's pretty grim and one of those legendary tales. But either way, all of you are home and you are on fall break, Thanksgiving break, this time of things. Who is with us right now? Go ahead and give us a shout out. Those of you who are tuning in from wherever. Let us know if you're in the chat. I can see the chat right here. Where you're from, what type of engineer you are trying to become, and also what type of questions and what type of things you're trying to figure out right now. Here is the 1% Engineer Show. We have some of our team here. I'm going to do a couple intros. Here at the 1% Engineer, what we do is empower young engineers to rise to the top 1% of their career so that you can crush it and basically be a successful engineer. Sadu's going to be coming right back with us, but I'll introduce Hamza and Ashton. Hamza's our director of operations. He's been around for about 3 or 4 years. He helps me out with all types of stuff and making sure. Robert Torres is in the chat. What's up, Robert? Robert's joining the team. Love it. He's missed basically 0 live chats over the last 4 or 5 sessions. So Hamza keeps me straight and works on all types of things. If you email me at hello@jakevoorhees.com, you most likely will be CC'd with Hamza. And then next up, introduce Ashton. A lot of you know Ashton because he is the director of Discord. So if you're not in the Discord yet, why don't you follow the links in the description and make sure you join 850 young engineers where we talk about how we can rise to the top 1% of our student or engineering career. We have all types of cool stuff going on in Discord where you can drop questions about this live stream. You have all different types of channels that Ashton has so geniusly set up where electrical engineers and mechanical engineers and job seekers and resume tweakers can figure out things and all chat and learn from each other. And then we have Sadu. Sadu has been, I guess, a lifetime best friend of Hamza. Has been, I think, 1% Engineer Core Team Member number 3. I think you joined before anybody else earlier this summer. Filmmaking connoisseur and also working on this 1% Engineer remote internship project. Sadu, why don't we actually pass it right over to you if you want to talk a little bit about what we're designing, what we're doing with the 1% remote internship project. Can't get an internship during COVID-19 where you can do it yourself at home with some help from us. Take it away, Sadu. Go ahead.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, like, honestly, if we if we just don't sit around and just actually sit down and work, and like basically what we're trying to do here is, now everything's a subscription service. You get a box full of food for the week or the month, right? You get a box full of, science kits for your kids to do, right? And that's basically what we're trying to do with the 1% remote engineer internship, right? So we'll give you a list, we'll give you a schedule for a couple weeks, all right? Just forgive that. Somebody's doing Thanksgiving dinner, fire's going on.
Talk through it, it's all good.
Yeah. Get through it. So, we got a schedule and we got all different types of engineering majors planned. Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, software engineering, as well as civil engineering, just to name a few. And that's basically it. We want to give you guys as close to as possible a internship experience. Senior designs are going to be a major asset to us and inspiration for these projects, and basically like see what you guys are capable of and hone your skills and just improve and better yourselves and really show companies that you're the real deal. You're part of the 1%. You can perform and you can you're only going to learn by doing. So we're basically creating an environment, a framework for you to do what most engineers would do with an internship. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Hamza. Go ahead.
And to add on top of this, I said this last live stream, but I'm going to say it again. We'll tell you what to do, but ultimately you guys have to do the work. You guys have to make sure you're doing the right things day in, day out to make it happen. Like, it's not just going to be handed to you, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the trends that we've been kind of finding, we got a question for you coming up here, Ashton, if you want to think about it. But from Kashif, what kind of research can I do as an electrical engineer as an undergraduate student? So you can think about that.
Cool.
I'm going to go ahead and add one more point to the 1% engineer, what we're calling the remote internship. So essentially, we have been hearing the pain and the agony from you guys, like, hey, it's impossible to find an internship. And so we're going to do a pilot this spring. And so anybody who's interested in being a part of this internship program, where literally, again, just to summarize, we're going to give you like a 10 to 12 week plan. You're a mechanical engineer. Here's what you do in week 1. Here's what you do in week 2. This is where you learn it. This is how you do it. Here's the softwares that you download. Boom, boom, boom. And then this is what you should have after week 1. Basically, it's like homework. Here, do this, right? And then at the end of 12 weeks, I'm hearing a lot of background noise over there. At the end of 12 weeks, what you would have is essentially the equivalent of a portfolio item or something to show for your next real interview, for your next opportunity to talk about at a job fair, right? To impress a professor or a job application or a graduate school application, something to help you get to the next step. And with that being said, we do have a question that's highly applicable. For example, Kashif's question, what kind of research can I do as an electrical engineer, as an undergraduate student? These are the types of projects, something that like what Ashton's working on right now, that we may end up including into this program. So do you have any ideas for about that, Ashton? What kind of research can I do as an electrical engineer, as an undergraduate student?
Oh yeah, several. Okay, so I'm an electrical engineer technologist, and I'm going into my senior year, right? So I kind of already been through it all. I've seen the ups and downs, and it's interesting. So mainly in my year, I'm doing a lot of projects, and that's having to do with practicals with school and then practicals out of school. So some of the things I could tell you that you're going to need as an undergraduate in EE, you're definitely going to need to learn assembly language, C++, to a basic level, like not just go like really into it. And then with that, you probably end up having to do some practices. Personally, I use schematics. I use a schematics program called PSpice. So I run all my things on PSpice before I build them. Any simple circuit that I haven't did before on my own, I typically do it with PSpice, check the calculations, and then bring it back. So that's the theoretical side, right? The practical side looks a little bit more interesting. So let's see. Like, I have a basic kit that has like everything I need in it: capacitors, transistors, resistors, LEDs, LEDs, all that. And then I kind of build stuff like this over here. We, Oop.
Yeah, you were
So
just showing it before the stream.
this
Yeah, this is
is
cool.
a basic circuit.
Get as close as you
It's a
can.
voltage regulating circuit. And if you wonder what it does, I turn this on, and that's one light, right? So now this potentiometer, it brings the light down. And then if I turn it back, it brings it up.
So what type of course? What would you say? What course
And that's
would
like
be?
something super basic. It's
Yeah.
literally like a capacitor, a next capacitor, a potentiometer, a voltage regulator, and just some LEDs. And you could just build a simple circuit. And from that, you kind of learn the concepts of your basic electrical engineering.
Yeah, very cool.
And then
So
there's also some other things like a DC motor, just a small one, a DC motor, voltage regulator circuit, and then some other things too.
very cool. I was accidentally on mute for a couple times. Yeah, thanks for that, Ashton. So what course would you say is the introduction? Which university electrical engineering course is like the introduction to this example that you just gave for us?
Oh, so I'd say your practical Ohm's law, your Kevlar's law, your Kirchhoff's current law. So those simple things are basically tell you how the circuit works and how like if something's not grounded in actual circuit, that could be quite a bad thing. Either your component get ruined, and in the worst cases, you get ruined from touching it. So
Very
you want to make sure everything's grounded, and then when you start in your labs, you're gonna have to like, I mean, in our labs, we end up having like this little grounding post. So before we touch anything, we like touch the grounding post, and then we go and move over to our stations, and then we get pretty.
Yeah. You don't want to be like Electro Boom, but I'd be like shocking this stuff out of yourself.
He's funny.
Yeah, I like him. We need to do a collab, or not a collab. He's like 4 million, but do some sort of video where we feature a bunch of his funny things, and then we maybe talk about what's going on. This is really good. Cool. Thanks for that example. Go ahead, guys. Make sure you smash this like button so that this stream arrives to more browsers within YouTube right now with Young Engineers. And if you are new here, go ahead and join the Discord. We have 850 people in that. It's got a bunch of young engineers all talking about career success, resume tips, all different types of things. How to pick the right major. That's what we're going to talk about a lot here tonight. Just make sure that you comment in the chat and you smash the like button so that more people see this. We get up to like 45, 50 people in streams sometimes. I know it's Thanksgiving and people are home, but drop your questions in the chat right now. We're adding it to a queue. We have two. We got Robo Serpent with a question, and then Noor's question is coming up. So Hamza, you're a perfect person to take this question. So Robo Serpent says, because Hamza did I guess like a technical degree, an engineering technical degree, or what do you call it, Hamza? Like a 2-year?
I have 2 associates.
2 associate's degrees, okay. And now he's in a full 4-year, gonna get his actual like ABET accredited engineering degree at UNC Charlotte, and he'll be finished with that in just a couple years, maybe only 2. So the question is this, Robo Serpent's question, great question. As of right now, I will graduate with my AA, a community college, with Calc 2 and transfer to university. Would I not be accepted if I'm not up to Calculus 3? Hamza, take it away.
No. Short answer would be no. You have to look at your state's laws or your province's laws and rules. But typically, like, many states have like transfer agreements where if you get the associate's degree, all your classes will transfer under that associate's degree. At least in the state of North Carolina, where I'm from, that's how it is here. And technically, you can transfer after like 6 months or a month or whatever. More like 6 months, like a semester of just being in community college. There's no set rule as in like you have to get the associate's degree and transfer. Now, I would highly recommend that because it'll save you the money and whatnot. But yeah, that would be what I would say on this topic.
Very cool. By the way, I forgot to do a call to action. Yeah, thanks for that, Hamza. I forgot to do a call to action. If you guys are interested in being a part of the 1% Engineer Remote Internship Program, where we give you a starter kit of how to actually build the level of experience that you would need in order to essentially supplement from a real internship. Can't get an internship in COVID-19 because of COVID-19? Here, you can do a 1% Engineer Remote Internship. It's totally free. We're doing a pilot with people. I'd love to get like 50 people at least. To do this, we have 4 different types. Want to be a mechanical, electrical, civil, or a software-related computer science type of engineer. If we get enough demands, we'll add industrial, but right now I think the big 3 and then add a software component. So like a computer science person or somebody who wants to get a job in coding, even though they have an electrical engineering degree or mechanical engineering degree, this 4th one would be for you. So if you guys want to be in that, leave it in the chat. Let us know so we can actually get in touch with you and add you to the list. I think we had a couple people last time send me emails. I need to go back. We already got like 3 or 4 people, like early adopters of this thing. So thanks. I just see. Oh, here we go. Great. We got another couple of questions. Noor, your question's coming up. I think this one is for Sadhu. So currently in a bachelor's in engineering, and I don't understand why we don't take vector calculus when mechanical engineers do. So by we, you mean what? I guess you're talking about maybe electrical engineering, I'm assuming. What do you think, Sadhu? I guess you wanted this question. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, honestly, Noor, if you're still here, let us know what specific engineering major you're in, because I'm in mechanical, and personally, vector calculus, I did that at Calc 3. I did that last year. Usually it really depends, like when you take Calc 2 and when you move on, when you choose to take that next step. But like vector calculus, I took that last year, and it's a lot of Calc 3. Once you learn vectors, that's really like the building block. You can start doing statics and physics a lot easy. Things start to make more sense. That's when like that learning Calc 3 for me is when it like stuff started to like click, like the real first step where things started to click and be like, oh, like that's what we were doing when we were doing like X and Y vectors in like physics, doing like projectile motion and things like that. And vectors are even more important when it comes to statics, when you're doing trusses and when you're doing really figuring out like a point in like 3D space. And then obviously like moments, and all sorts of residual forces and things like that. And things just build. And I think, I guess to answer your question, yeah. So you are electrical engineering.
Cool. They added that. Yeah, I should have been paying attention to that.
Ashton, you can piggyback on top of that if you have anything to add. Like vector calculus, mechanical engineers, I think it's pretty like circumstantial. Like everyone's like it's like case by case basis. It just depends on when you will go. Typically, it's in Calc 3. Obviously, it depends on your program and how they run as well.
Yeah, awesome. Ashton,
So
yeah, go ahead. Add on to that.
okay. So in my degree, we end up having to learn a lot of things from maths, as you know it. Like we end up having to use imaginary numbers for J, when we have to talk about the real and imaginary parts of any circuit. So, for example, I'll show you one thing. So we had to take trigonometry, then we had to take Calc 1, and that was all to learn like three basic lines, not basic line, but three lines of formula that we will use throughout the rest of our engineering degree. But still, like they want us to learn the concept first, and then they'd be like, okay, when we go inside our major class, like ELAT 300, they'll have to do something like power electronics. They'll be like, remember this line of coding from maths? Yeah, we're bringing that back, and this is what that means to us. So they let us know it like from a concept point for mathematics, and then they bring it back and be like, okay, this is how we use it as electrical engineers. So that's kind of like what they do to us.
Interesting. Yeah, what I have to say about this is here, guys. Yeah, thanks for adding that, Ashton. So the only course that I had to retake in university was Calc 2. Calc 2 messed me up, and it was really hard for me to grasp as a civil engineer. And I know that civil engineers probably have to take the least like challenging math. I mean, I know we're splitting hairs here, guys, because the math in electrical is just maybe a little bit more challenging, even though they don't have to take PDEs like mechanicals do. We're about to do a mechanical versus electrical video because I think that Zach Starr's territory is worth like revisiting now. But kind of looking at these differences. But either way, Calc 2 was really hard for me. And then for some reason, our Calc 3 class was in MATLAB, and it was more of like a graphical, very computer driven. It was very different for me. So I don't know if other people had that experience, but I'm really glad we can talk about the differences here. We got about people staying for about 2 minutes on average. We've already had 190 people come and go. So if you're here, smash the like button. Go ahead and make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And you hit on the notification bell. Go ahead and join the Discord server with over 850 engineers. We're doing engineering Q&A. There's a list of questions coming right now. If you ask your question in the chat, we'll get to it in about 3-4 minutes. So go ahead and drop your engineering career or engineering student questions in the chat. Next up, we got Kashif again. Awesome. Thanks for coming by for another question. Right now, when I'm studying, I have a lot of elective choices other than my compulsory subjects, whatever that means. How would I know or decide which elective would be a better choice that aligns with my interests? Okay, so here's what you got to do.
I can take this one.
You can take this one. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Take it.
Okay, so I had that same problem going to my electives for my next semester. And that's basically because I did all my major classes first, like my core classes. And I was like, oh, wait, I got a bunch of electives to do now. What do I take? So you want to look at where you want to go. Personally, this is what I did. I look at where I want to go with my degree and then what I want to go in with my master's. So me, I want to get into mechatronics, but I'm coming from like electrical engineering. So I end up taking a lot of classes that are like fluid dynamics, thermodynamics, statics. Those are my electives. Those aren't easy electives, but they will definitely make me look more appealing because I end up taking things that relate to what I want to go and where I want to go.
Cool. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, most people, they major in one of the big three, but within electrical, civil, or mechanical, those are the big three. You definitely need to recognize that you have a niche or discipline or a speciality that you need to go down, and that's where you need to take your technical electives. Now, you can use these opportunities to explore. That's in part what your internships are as well. They're exploration, but it gives you a better opportunity to deep dive. So that's a really good question. I'm going to jump right over to Anybody else? Hamza, Sadu, got anything to add to that? So basically, again, the summary is, how do you know how to take the right electives, okay, that aligns with your interests? I mean, it says, I have a lot of elective choices other than so compulsory subjects, I guess the ones that are mandatory. I mean, honestly, it gets into like taking electives, like we don't know. There's two schools of thought here. You can take electives for fun and for interest, or you can take electives that amplify your career and also maybe you enjoy and that sort of shit, right? So what's your attitude on this, Sadhu, Hamza? Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, like it's an elective, right? It's your choice. Like honestly, do what you want. Like a class you're interested in, it looks cool, or you've heard that professor is like really great. Like I highly recommend. Like I was just signing up for classes like this past week. Like look at the listing of professors. Go if you're in the US, or if I don't know if it's like available in other countries, but like rate my professor, right? Look at that. Look
Yeah.
at the professor, see the ratings. And like I picked this professor, they were like, "Oh, like if you're an engineering student, like this is like a really good professor. Like he will help you and he's like very like specialized or whatever." Like whatever professor's got good reviews, or like you feel like you would vibe with their kind of teaching style, like go towards that, right? And obviously like whatever interests you, like go in that direction. Like um I want to do some stuff with like CS and software engineering side, like to like obviously like it would help boost up my resume and like make me look more appealing, but like it's also computer science and stuff has like always been interesting to me as well. So
Yeah.
like like where you see like aligns with your goals and your desires, like go like follow that.
Yeah. Hamza, what do you have to add to this?
To as far as like picking what elective classes to do, honestly, just look at the list, see what piques your interest, and then just pick those.
Yeah.
Really.
I really think that's a big part of it too. Yeah, go ahead, Hamza. Go ahead.
Just don't overanalyze this. A lot of times what I've noticed is people just like when they try to pick something they want to do or something that they're like to figure out their passion or whatever, they just think this thing too much. Rather had they just picked something arbitrarily and just gotten started on it and then pivoted and just done this constant iterative process, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I really agree with that. What Hamza is talking about, really, if I could kind of compartmentalize it, or at least encapsulate it, is like analysis paralysis, right? People, they worry too much about the outcome and like the risks of not making the perfect choice and then they don't even really advance and push forward and go and explore. I'll give you a quick little anecdote. So I took a philosophy of mind course my senior year in university, and it was a cool experiment. There was philosophy of South Park. I'm not joking. We had these in the philosophy department. Yeah, like I don't know what it was, but they had a lot of freedom to deep dive on these weird courses. And I almost took. There was the psychology of time travel, or the philosophy of time travel, the philosophy of South Park, and I took the philosophy of mind. And it wasn't for me. I gave it a shot, and then towards the end of the year, this was like my last semester, my 8th semester, I would literally just hand in the papers and then like walk out. And it was really ridiculous, but it was a good exploratory phase for me to take an elective and experiment with what I like. We got 30 people in here. This is one of the bigger live streams that I would have expected, or one of the bigger amounts that I would have expected in comparison to the last streams, especially here on Thanksgiving night. Go ahead and smash that like button, because chances are you're not going to be here for more than 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Go ahead and join the Discord and drop your engineering questions into the chat. We got a queue here. We got Hamza, Wahid, Sadhu, and Ashton here with the core team, board members of 1% Engineer. In case you guys didn't know, there's a whole squad behind this YouTube channel. We have a Reddit page. We have a Discord server. We have an Instagram page, which I haven't talked about at all tonight. We have a 1% Engineer remote internship in a box that we are building for you guys. Civil, electrical, mechanical, and software engineering. So go ahead and smash that like button. Leave your questions in the chat, and we'll get to those. Awesome stuff that you just added there, Hamza. I'm going to get right over to Rashid's question. Rashid, hi, mechanical engineering courses on statics and all related subjects, and how to be stronger in this type of courses because I'm weak. So this is where we don't really branch into like how to be a better student or like do the engineering better. I don't have any tips for you about how to do statics better. We talk about studying strategy and tactics, like the Pomodoro method, where you might study for 25, take a break for 5, study for 50 minutes, take a break for 10, space repetition.
Newport has good stuff.
Yep. What was that?
I was going to say Cal Newport has
Yeah.
good stuff on
Cal-
this. Not only that, but
Yeah, Cal Newport has some really good stuff
Yeah, go
on there. And then also, I really like things like spaced repetition mentality, where if you just start studying for statics a little bit earlier, you start your homework a little bit earlier, and then you look at it 3-4 times before it's due, you actually need to invest less time to accomplish that new learning or that new task. That's how the brain works. You give it additional opportunities to forge those neural connections, and you can invest less time, so you can technically be more efficient with your journey within statics. I wasn't one of the better students in engineering, so I can't teach you how to be a better student. What we do teach here is alternate methods about how to network better, how to have a better resume, how to have a better message in the job interviews, how to position yourself for success to outpace the other 99% of engineers who are ahead of you, and you're not going to do that with your grades, so we will not be taking any more questions or going any deeper into that question. Sorry about that. Next question. This is one. I guess my name is highlighted here. We got Lo Jai How High, and then next up CJ24. Your question is being answered. Nor, you get another question answered, and then Zolkar, you have a question answered. So this one, Lo Jai Hoi Hai. I'm really struggling with the pronunciation there, but I will butcher it and move on. I'm a mechanical engineering student from Malaysia. Shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Love that. I wanted to join at least one engineering competition, but I need to do part-time jobs to solve a financial problem for my family. What should I do? Seems like you are in a predicament where you want to advance your career and you want to do something that's going to boost your resume or boost your chances for success, but you need to survive right now. So you can either start watching Gary Vee on Instagram and sleeping like 6 hours a day and grinding out that part-time job and then getting home, right? Getting home and hitting the candlelight and doing Beethoven, bro.
I
And
highly support this lifestyle, by the way.
honestly, I did it for a long time. I mean, this is how this YouTube channel was built. I would literally work a full-time civil engineering job and then get home and grind on the other thing I was working on. There's a guy, here's the last thing I'll say about this, and I'll pass it over just to do, okay? So there's this guy who, he went on Mike Winnett's YouTube channel, who's a British, he does the Entrepreneur Show. I really love it. And he basically was like, listen, guys, if you want to kind of like easily make a lot of money, just get 2 full-time jobs and work 16 hours a day. And he did it, and he documented the whole journey for 3 years. And it's like, listen, if you really want your priorities to be straight with your finances, with your career, with your relationships, just spend a ton more time actually investing in those and hustle with it and work hard on whatever it is that you're trying to improve in your life. And so this is what it is. Maybe you got to grind it out. So, what do you got to add here?
Honestly, like I 100% agree. Like you can do this. All right, like it can be done. Like people have done this for years, and people will continue to do this. Right? You just need to be like very structured and very honest with yourself, and like it'll be hard. Right? It's gonna take a lot out of you, and like you have to like manage your time and like still make time to like take care of yourself, because like if you don't take care of yourself, you don't get your sleep, your food, all of that stuff, the whole thing's gonna be like it's gonna be like a Dr. Seuss book. You know, you're like balancing all these plates that are like spinning on like, you know, sticks, right? Like, and like if you like literally if you don't have enough sleep, like you let one plate drop, literally everything falls, right? So you know,
The train
it's like
can
high
fall
risk,
off the
high reward.
tracks. Yeah,
Like you'll get a lot out of it.
Go ahead, Sir.
And once you can do this, you're like Superman. You know, like you can do anything. Nothing can phase you, right? But yeah, no, like, you know, it's about like consistency and like building that routine and stuff.
Yeah. So this is a really good example, you know, for another value add for our 1% engineer remote internship. It's like, okay, don't have the lifestyle and the time or the opportunity to participate in your engineering competitions. Well, we built the 1% engineer remote internship for you. Honestly, this is a good example. This is maybe another lens for us to look at, is studying the engineering competitions and the teams and what they're doing. And maybe we can take some feathers out of their hats, right? And get some examples. I mean, Panache was talking about about her university in the Netherlands and how they really emphasize the participation in engineering teams as a student. So the university doesn't just support them, they really push for them so that you can have additional, it's kind of like a co-op attitude. So you can have additional expertise, learning opportunities, and skill sets when you move forward. So maybe we really should be looking at these engineering competitions, taking feathers out of their hats and then giving them back to Lo Jahai Hoahai. That's like a really tough name for me, but that's what it is. So yeah, thanks for that. Hamza, Ashton, you have anything to add to that? Basically, really what we're talking about is like life priorities. Sometimes real true life things get in the way, like you need to work, or we've had some engineering team members who basically need to like bail out because, you know, something happened with their family and they need to be there and like go back and get a full-time job when they were doing this, that, or the other thing. You know, anybody have anything else to add to this? It's more like a life, it's like a life coaching question. And if you don't, it's
Nope.
good. Okay.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head.
Cool. Ashton, got anything?
Nope.
Awesome.
You guys got it.
Awesome. So go ahead and smash that like button, guys. If you're new here, we got 28 people, and I bet you a whole bunch of you just showed up. This is the 1% Engineer live stream, which we've done this 10 times in 2020. We got started in the fall, and now we're doing it every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, even on Thanksgiving. The 1% Engineer Show is where we empower young engineers to rise to the top 1% of your career. And we do that by releasing videos on YouTube. We have 134 episodes all for your engineering success. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Go ahead and join us on Discord. We got 850 engineers in the Discord channel, for which Astro Wrote is the Discord director. That's why he's here. We got Hamza as well, director of operations. And Sadu, what are you, are you the director of internships, bro? Is that what it is now? Is that what it is?
I'm not one for titles. Dramatic entrances maybe.
The director of cinematic movement in real life. This is what it is. Sadu has
cinematic engineering.
Cinematic engineering. Sadu has a really cool YouTube channel where he analyzes, or not analyzes, but you put commentary on kind of cinematic video games and cinematography in general. What was the video? What was the video that when we met you were doing content about it? That it was hyping up that release over the summer.
All about the movie Tenet.
Tenet. Why am I thinking it started with an R?
I'm out, and I'm not sure. There's probably some other movies as well.
It's okay.
Wow.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Tenet's a crazy movie.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry, we're still rolling with the show notes. So go ahead and drop your go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. We've got a whole lineup of engineering questions. The next one's coming up on the queue. Nor, you have a question. Zalkar, you have a question. Kashif, you have a question. And then Wolfgard, thanks for coming out. You have a question. What type of engineer do you guys want to be? Where are you from, and what problems do you have right now? Drop your questions in the chat. Let's keep right on going. So Noor has this question. It's Noor Ul Islam. I'm confused whether I should do MBA or get a minor in biomedical engineering. And essentially was talking about, I think there was another comment in the chat, essentially about wanting to start their own business. Or do a BME startup, or do an MBA. So this is what you need to figure out. So this question, I'm gonna repackage this question. So a lot of engineers, they know that they're gonna do some step after university. Okay, they're either gonna get their MBA, they're gonna get a master's degree, they might want to join a startup, they might want to start their own business. Okay, there's all these plans. Okay, this is what you need to know about your options. Okay, so don't make the plans, okay? Don't think that you can be a junior or senior in high school, even a freshman or a sophomore in university, and think that you know what's going to happen in the next 2-3 years of your life. Because, I'm sorry to say, you live in 2020. You have no clue what the world is going to be like in 2 years. You have no idea what the world's going to be like tomorrow, okay? So don't extrapolate too far. What you need to do is just pay more attention to what's going on around you and be self-aware of who you are and who you're becoming and where your personal skill sets will thrive, okay? Where your personal skill sets will thrive. Let me give you some examples, okay? So I went into grad school right after university. So I was a 21-year-old bleep head, okay? We're trying not to get this stream demonetized because I end up accidentally cursing every week. I was a 22-year-old bleep head, and I thought I knew what I wanted for my career, and I jumped right into a technical master's. And as you guys can see, I'm good at communicating and this sort of other stuff, and a technical researcher avenue wasn't the best fit for me. So what I should have done, and what I'm going to encourage all of you to do, is go right to work and get a job right away and figure out if you actually like that thing that you thought you were going to like, okay? And the MBA question, let's talk about that. Maybe you're going to get an MBA. Well, you really should go get like 4 or 5 years of experience because you don't know anything about managing a business or business in general until you've worked in business. So it's very popular for people who are 28, 29, 30, early 30s to go get their MBA. And it's very similar if you're going to go get a technical master's, okay? Now, because you don't know what you like, so go ahead and get started. Now, if you want to start your own business, if you want to take the entrepreneurial route, okay, don't start a business, okay? You should potentially go work for a startup, all right? Go learn from somebody else's mistakes and take your little measly salary, little baby salary, or move to San Francisco with some roommates, beg and borrow and steal your ability to sleep on somebody's couch for 12 months, or go get, sublet a place for $850 because San Francisco is crazy, but join somebody else's team. Don't think that just because you watch Gary Vee like me and Sadhu that you can actually start your own thing, because it's really hard and most people fail. And even if you are going to figure out something that makes it, why don't you learn and fail with another team that's learned and failed and been ahead of you? That's the way. Go work for somebody else who can teach you and you can learn from, and you could be a part of something big, okay? I'll give you a real quick anecdote and then I'll pass it to the team. When I quit my engineering career, I went on my own and tried to figure out some stuff for about 6 months, and then I joined another startup, and then we were on ABC's Shark Tank, and now everything's different. And people treat us like we won the Nobel Prize, but I picked the right team and I invested in my career in a way that wasn't just me trying to figure it out on my own. And that's what I encourage a lot of you to do. I hear this strategy with a lot of business coaches. Just join somebody else's team. So, and if you're thinking biomedical engineering, then that's great because there's a lot of startup opportunity in that industry. Take it away. Who wants to riff off of that?
Yeah, so the other thing I would say is like, starting a huge startup, like you have this plans of being like getting this $1 billion startup or whatever. That's like lifting 400 pounds when you can't even lift 100. It's ridiculous. What you need to do is you need to start small and then progressively stack up the weight, so to speak.
Yep.
In terms of like the intensity of business. So from a lemonade stand all the way up to the $1 billion startup. That would be kind of the spectrum, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I know you had
just
something.
piggyback off of Hamza's, and I'll kind of relate it back to Jake's thing about, life and like making mistakes and things. I personally have like, you guys might agree with this or attest to having similar modes of thinking, but like maybe in like a romantic sense, like I might have internally, maybe with myself, more like masochistic, like I have to learn from mistakes and I'll like make myself like make mistakes, or I'll make myself learn the hard way, right? And I feel like, I don't know, I gain like more experience that way, and I like learn the most from like making my own mistakes and learning to pick myself back up and all those things. But like, like not everyone has that time. And like, if someone's already made this mistake, like why do you have to go and make that same mistake and learn from it? Like see where somebody has failed and just don't go down that path, right? Like don't like intentionally like step into the hole, right? Like you can like you see what's happening and you see like the end result. So you can like divert course, like adjust and like take that new information into like account and then apply it towards your life, and then like you can go in another direction or like a slightly more refined direction. So I would say personally, go get experience, like working, and then decide about like MBA. Like I don't know, it's like a much different, like much more complex thing to like start like a business and like go from like scratch, right? As opposed to like like getting experience and like actually doing something with that.
Yeah. Ashton, you have anything to add to that about like plans after graduation? What are your plans after graduation?
My
It's
plans
coming
after
up for you.
graduation. Let's see. I have about 1 more year before I graduate. My plans after graduation, by that time, I hope because we don't know what's happening next year. I
True.
hope that things are a little bit more normal, and with things more normal, money starts come flowing back in, can start saving again, and then I have like a more open field to pick from where I want to, continue my academic career.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good attitude about it, balanced attitude. I just see so many people who have like made all the decisions about these things like years and years and years in advance. This is not the way to go, guys. So thanks again for being here, guys. Go ahead and smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, get your questions in the chat. We're getting right to them. The next questions, we got Zalkar coming up next. Kashif, Wolfguard, your question then. Bar you Tuano got your question in here. Vitas, CJ, 17R coach, and then Guillermo. Thank you. All of your questions are coming up. We're going to blast through these to sort of siphon through the queue. So Zalkar, what's the difference between structural and multidisciplinary? And would you recommend multidisciplinary? I think what this question is referred to is structural engineering, multidisciplinary, which I am a structural engineer. Yeah, thank you, Hamza. Here we go. Like in structural engineering, there's structural engineering and there's multidisciplinary. So that, of course, depends on your university. So my university did not have a multidisciplinary in civil engineering. We were a heavy structures-based school. We had several good bridge professors, and that's what it was. So civil engineering really does utilize a multidisciplinary approach, okay? So here's the big five: structural, transportation, environmental, geotechnical, and coastal engineering. And then like hydrology and water resources and that sort of thing kind of falls either in coastal or environmental, okay? But really those are the big five. And you need to kind of pick a niche and go down that avenue, and there you have it. But even transportation, right? Like transportation and structural engineering kind of go hand in hand. Or, for example, you can't just do structural engineering and omit the impacts to the environment. There's no way you could do structural without geotechnical or without environmental. All of these need to come together. And so this is what multidisciplinary engineering is. Now, what my suggestion to you is, if you're asking this question, you're clearly not exclusively attracted to just one of the five. You must be attracted to more than one, and so you're most likely a candidate to multidisciplinary. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, be self-aware of your own interests. What do you find yourself reading about, absorbing content around, talking about, interested in? And if it's more leaning towards one of those, then do that one. And if it's more general, then multidisciplinary is the one for you. I don't think you can really make a mistake here, because even if you choose one or the other, you still have a civil engineering degree and you will be fine. Kashif's question. Kashif? How do I pronounce this, guys? Kashif Hossein. Is the remote internship going to be continuing as well for a good amount of time? I mean, even after the 12 weeks is over, like in later years or later months. Look at that, Hamza and Sadhu. We haven't even launched the pilot, and people are asking how long we're going to keep this going, and can they do this forever? Well, what I need you to do, Kashif, is make sure that you email me or Hamza or Sadhu right now. Guys, go ahead and drop some email addresses in the chat so that you can be, we're trying to get to 50 engineers.
I don't think we can drop ours due to the moderation. Remember what happened?
Oh, can you drop mine? Or does it have to be me? It's hello@jakevoorhees.com. Either way, what you need to do is make sure either in these comments or email me or go to our Instagram or get in our Discord and figure out some way to get a hold of us so that you're one of these 50 engineers in the pilot program. Make sure you sign up soon, because if we clip the amount of people who are eligible or who are actually included, then you want to make sure that you're in that group. So send us the thing, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pilot this thing in the spring of 2021, and then we're actually going to launch it and do like a real summer edition for the summer of 2021, and ideally get like 100, let's maybe triple it, 150 engineers to take this and get all this feedback. We really are talking heavily about incorporating senior design projects, engineering competition, real projects, and ultimately the pinnacle would be real company problems and data sets and things that they're building and designing and true industry projects to be a part of this. So it's going to be a really cool thing. Kashif, make sure that you sign up and make sure that you get in touch with us so that you can be a part of the internship, because we don't want to end
email you about resume questions?
Sure. Email me. Yeah. What we really need to do is get in the Discord and then have the resume. There's a resume tab. There is. I know there's one, right, Ashton?
Yep. Go to the resume channel on the Discord.
Yeah. And
put your questions in there.
Yep. Thanks, Sadhu. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great question, Kashif. Anybody else have anything to add?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So like, that's great. Yeah, go for it. Ask,
Go.
ask.
Go, Ashton.
I was going to say ladies first, but
Oh, who's got a bigger beard, though? Beard club, beard club.
Hey, I'm confident in my masculinity. All right, we're in 2020.
Hamza, go
yeah,
to
so
your
is that
beard.
shirt.
I was like, all right, which one of you is going next? Go ahead. Yeah.
I guess I go first. My thing is short. Well, my exams are soon over. I have done 4 of them. I have 2 more to go. That means Discord will soon be very, very active. That means there'll be more feedback from me. And of course, if you guys can't get a touch of Jake, Hamza, or do, you just go in there. I'll be there most of the time. If you have any questions, like there are channels open. If not, just slide inside my DMs, drop your question, and I'll make sure I get it to them as soon as possible.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at Discord. Like you guys should. I mean, Astro's a great resource, but you can hit me up. You know, like whoever's watching this, DM me or just at me on whatever channel, and I'll see it and then I'll respond.
Cool. Thanks for that, Stu.
And to go with the answering questions for Kashaf. Yes, we're going to do the summer thing, like Jake said. Do like an actual like set, like this is the summer, and we'll be organizing this and like keeping tabs on people and seeing how this whole thing, almost like our class of like 1% engineer, like acolytes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so we're
Like
gonna have
Sean
that,
Mazer joining
but
in,
also, like,
hopping into the chat.
we're basically going to shout out to Sean, love you man, from British Columbia, and basically we're going to stop rambling here. So
No, we distracted you.
like the whole internship in a box, right? It's basically, right, it's designed so that like you can pick it up and start and like do this thing like anytime, anywhere. So yes, we'll do like the summer thing, but like you could start it like as soon as like January when we release it, right? You can start it like whenever. You start it February, you can start it in August, just like, and there's no like set time. Like you can do it in like 10 weeks. You can do it in like 7 weeks if you just like do everything, right?
That's true. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, love to add that. This is what we're trying to do is emulate what a real internship would be, but also give you the opportunity to complete it faster, better, stronger. And then really, if we have people who are like, hey, I'm done, like, what else can I do next? It really shows us like, okay, we're on to something here. And what I can already see it coming, is creating a platform where you have a list of companies who they want virtual interns, right? And they have a list of data sets and projects and problem sets, and they want engineers to help them solve those and figure that stuff out together. And we can be the conduit to have people who have official virtual internships. Imagine if we could get you a virtual internship at 3M or Siemens or any of these big brands, Jacobs or AECOM or something like this. That would be SpaceX. Like one day we really do believe that we can work with these companies to help fit you guys with internships and positions. And we're kind of just getting started with the project to get that started. Hamza, do you have anything to add about this? You've been heavily working with Sadhu on the 1% Engineer remote internship program. Go ahead.
Perhaps another thing that could be done as well is like, people like in the community have their project ideas and they post it on this platform, and then other people join together and they work on it. I think that would be a good addition as well.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Guys, go ahead and smash that like button. We're getting to all of your questions right now. We have a whole queue of about 6-7 questions. So we're getting to the next lineup of Wolfgard, Bartholomew, Vitus, CJ, 17 Code, Guillermo, and Noor. One of your questions again, Noor. Thanks so much for you sticking around for the live stream. This is the 1% Engineer live show. We've been live 10 times this fall, and we have about 130 some episodes to empower young engineers and help you rise to the top 1% of your career. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell as well. And if you go down to the description links below, you'll find access to the Discord server, for which we have Astro Rote, who is our director of that community, with 850 engineers, so that you guys can talk about resumes and major choosing and all types of other engineering things. Smash the like button on the stream so that a few more engineers can find this. We're going till at least 9 o'clock, probably until like 9:15, 9:30. So get your questions in the chat and we'll go over to those. So next up we have Wolfgard. Where does engineering technology fit? This is Wolfgard. 233. Where does engineering technology fit in the 4 types of engineering? Okay, so it doesn't. Okay, so the 4 main types of engineering, there's really a couple ways to look at this. The big 3 are civil, mechanical, electrical, and then you have the software industry, and then finally you have industrial engineering that kind of squeezes in and makes the top 5. So engineering technology, okay, is kind of like this industry that's stigmatized, and it doesn't get paid it doesn't get paid as much, and a lot of people think that you're not a real engineer, but the reality is that engineering technology is just a little bit more of the applied side. You could be an engineer and sit in the office and work behind a desk, a computer, and tinker with software and never really see the things you build, and never really be there to deploy the installations of the components or be there on site during a project. These are the things that engineering technologists or an engineering technology major is actually going to do, is be there to make sure that the stuff that a mechanical engineer designs, or be there for the power generation system that an electrical engineer has created in the lab, they're going to make sure that it actually gets deployed properly. And for some reason, I don't think you need as much heavy mathematics, for some reason, it's just not paid the same and it isn't given the same amount of respect. And I think that's because you don't take as much theoretical math, you don't have to dive as deep into the heavy calc, and as much of the things that sort of the absolute math-centric, physics-centric, like true engineers need to do, or like your stereotypical engineers need to do, and therefore it is a little bit different. You can still become a professional engineer. You can still have a really good career, but I just want to warn you that there is a stigma, meaning a sort of negative aura around it within engineering technology. So I just want to let that be known. Good question. Keep going here because we got a lot of good questions here. This is really good. Drop your questions in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Join us on Discord. Bartholomew or whatever. Bartheo Bernard. This is a tough name. We got some tough names here tonight, guys. Love it. Talk about mechanical engineering versus automotive engineering. Nope, because that's not a thing. Okay, so automotive engineering is a subset of mechanical engineering, okay? So there are a lot of schools like Michigan and places like Carnegie Mellon who essentially their whole program around engineering is revolving around the car, okay? And so this is how you could choose a program so that you can make sure that you emphasize in automotive engineering. I think a lot of mechanical engineers want to work in the automotive or the vehicle engineering industry, and so it's not really about the differences. It's more like, are you into automotive engineering enough to think that's your first exploration within mechanical engineering itself? So really no big difference, but great question. I kind of gave you a smart response. Anybody else, you two mechanical engineers over there, Hamza and Sadhu, anything to add here about automotive? How popular is automotive? Do I have that right? I really do see it as one of the more attractive niches within mechanical. Do you guys have?
Oh yeah, I mean on YouTube you see so many car enthusiasts. I mean on car enthusiast channels, like you see them having millions upon millions of subscribers. People really like cars. I have a friend who's a mechanical engineering major. He loves cars, and it's very common. Yeah, Jake hit the nail right on the head. Automotive is more specialized. Mechanical is more broad.
You're breaking up over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a subset. It's a subset of mechanical engineering. Like, people love cars, Fast and Furious franchise is like multi-billion-dollar movie thing. Like, people love cars. People will, Tesla. That's like automotive engineering, right? People will always like, self-driving, and like it's a big thing. People need to get from place to place, so it's going to always be there, and people are always interested in it.
Love it. A couple shout outs here. So shout out to Marlon and Mr. Bongs who have emailed already about signing up for the 1% Engineer remote internship. So I think we have like 5 or 6 people of the 50. You know what we should do is create some scarcity and actually clip it at 50. So the first 50 people who sign up, boom, there it is. Boom, roasted, and this is what it is. So awesome. Shout out to you guys who just joined. Thanks for that addition. So let's get right into the questions because we got a couple more going. I really like this one. Hamza, did you have any? Oh, you already did add to automotive. Okay, so this is Vitus. Where do you see industrial engineering going these days? Great topic, because we just released a video about what do industrial engineers do. He says, especially for transportation/delivery companies in college now, soon to be transferring. Let's talk about industrial engineering for a second here, okay? Because industrial engineering is considerably different from the other types of engineering, all right? I really like this line in that video that we produced, that most engineering is what you do is you deconstruct the parts and maximize those in order to make the sum of the parts the most effective, the most efficient, the leanest amount of resources, the fastest, the strongest, use the least energy, things like this. But if you do that improperly, or if you do that with a massive system like a manufacturing industry, or you have a lot of human elements, then you will overlook. If you don't take a systematic approach and an umbrella vision, then you will overlook things and you will not have a successful outcome generally. And that's where industrial engineering comes into play, okay? And so there are 285,000 industrial engineers employed in America alone. Besides electrical, civil, and mechanical, there is more industrial engineers than any other things, way more than environmental, aerospace, all of the chemical, the biomedical, these types of things. So I think the industry is going to continue to uptick. This, again, just like technology, you don't have as much of the engineering salary. It's just below some of the averages of, let's say, civil engineer, mechanical engineering. But you have so many people who are going into this who may not be as into the theoretical math, right? Like how good are you at math and physics is one of the biggest barriers for engineering. And you have people who they go into industrial engineering who more like this, sort of working with people, working with systems, working with a bigger approach, instead of getting so deep into the weeds about one specific math problem to design one thing. Like that's typical engineering, okay? So I really like this question. Thanks for that. Anybody have anything to add to industrial engineering?
The other thing that's coming up in my head is this idea of connectivity, meaning systems and people and beings just being connected together. Like, not like people would probably report to software or something like that, but especially the systems are going to be connected to like a cloud, almost like the IoT essentially. And then through that, you can do data analysis, and through that, you can optimize the system and make it faster, which is part of what industrial engineers do.
Awesome. Really quickly here, just sort of adding something to Discord. I'm messaging you about your internet, Hamza. It's weird. Sweet. Ashton, have anything to add about a systems approach, or do industrial engineers and electrical engineers work together in any way? Like, what's that look like? Is that not a thing?
I actually haven't encountered an industrial engineer inside my school. We mainly have mechanical, the big three. We don't have like much industrial, so I definitely don't get much interaction with them. Or I know in the workforce, they are basically like, I would say, like you were saying, like they're like, the guys who make sure that you don't mess up. Like they're there to help you. Like they're not, like they deserve more appreciation,
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Yeah, same thing for me, I went to University of Delaware, same school as Joe Biden. Woo-wee! And we did not have an industrial engineering industry or, I guess, program there. But when I got to grad school, we did traffic. I'm a civil engineer who studied transportation, went into traffic, went into intelligent transportation systems. And those heavily rely on human factors and decision making. So, yeah, I didn't have exposure to it right away in undergrad, but was able to develop more of an appreciation to it later. Awesome. Couple more questions here. Let's see what's going on with the stream. 37 people in here right now. I wonder what the max has been. 421 people have stopped by. Go ahead and smash that like button. Join us on Discord. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Get your engineering questions in the chat. I'm basically going to stream. I don't know. We don't really have a stopping point. I mean, you go at least an hour, but let's just keep on cranking. Sometimes you go to 9:45. Sometimes it's 9:15, whatever. Let's just keep it right on going. We got a lot of questions here. So CJ24, love this question. CJ24, are you still here? I really want to make sure when people drop questions that they get answered. 17 Croc, yours is coming. Guillermo is coming. Noor and the OG noobs. W27, Mosabi, Jeremy, and then Guillermo, you're going to have your other questions. So all these questions are coming. CJ, when should you get an internship? This is my first semester, and it's about to end soon. If you can get an internship after your first semester during COVID-19, hats off to you. Because I did not. I think it's the most challenging year to get one after a freshman year, and I wouldn't put massive expectations on yourself. Why don't you send us an email over here at hello@jakevoorhees.com. So even if you don't get an internship, you can get the 1% engineer remote internship. Can't get an internship during COVID-19, you can get the 1% engineer remote internship. So make sure you sign up for that. But the way to do it, okay, the way to do it is not by just applying to stuff online, okay? You need to ask your professors for connections to the industry. You need to ask for people who you've met at job fairs and career fairs. Ask for connections to people. Ask for informational interviews. Talk to people who know people in engineering. Ask for intros. Get an informational interview, and you may be able to get an internship still in COVID-19 days. 17 Coke. How do you beat the resume algorithm to get looked at by an employer? What a great question to be right after the one that CJ just had. The way to beat the resume algorithm to get looked at by an employer is not rely on your freaking resume skipping through an algorithm in order to get an opportunity, okay? Email your professors, email your science teacher, email Uncle Bob, who knows somebody in engineering, and get him to introduce you to the 54-year-old mechanical engineer who works at Siemens so that you can have lunch with that person, and then you can ask them, hey, what do you really do? You build a relationship with somebody in the industry, and if you do this 5 times, 10 times, you have 10 people who actually work. Like in your email right now, if you have 10 contacts who work in engineering, you're going to get an internship. That's the way. Don't worry about the stupid algorithm. I've never gotten an opportunity, and neither have these guys either, by just being a name in a pile. Like, it's ridiculous. Go ahead, Hamza. Or go ahead, anybody. I heard somebody say something.
Like everybody,
the other thing I would add is
honestly,
also
everybody's got the resume. Or Hamza, go.
It's okay. I think Hamza's internet is just a little delayed. Go ahead, Hamza.
Right. The other thing I would say is just be creative when it comes to finding opportunities and whatnot. You know, most people are just sending out their resumes. Here's my resume. Here's my resume. Here's my resume. How about this as an idea to just think different? What if at your college program, you have a mock interview program? Many colleges have that. Just sign up for multiple mock interviews, practice your interview, and then in the interview itself, ideally you're doing it with engineering employers that you want to work for. Ask for an informational interview in the interview itself, because it's a mock interview, right?
Yeah.
You might as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's 100% true. Yeah, Ashton, I guess Sidhu, you already riffed on this. I think so. The stream questions blur together. Ashton,
Yeah,
anything to add?
everybody's got a resume. You know, like it doesn't. It's just another piece of paper, right? Everybody's just a little bit different, but like, what are you gonna do like on top of that to like make yourself stand out? How are you gonna, stand out 1%, right?
Yeah, this is what it is, and I love how these questions are sort of chaining together. Ashton, do you have anything to add to that? Sort of like
pretty much piggybacking what the other guys say. Like, you have to figure out how to separate yourself from everyone else. Because okay, look at it like an ocean, right? A lot of fish in the sea, and like, unless you have something that's different in your character, you're not gonna get like looked at that much. You have to like, appear, like, stand out, figure out some way.
Yeah, honestly, this is I really love these questions. Thanks for that, Ashton. Yeah, these questions are parlaying so well into each other because Guillermo Avila says, what are the best ways to find a job in a startup as a recent mechanical engineering graduate? Essentially, this is another standout, how to be unique, how to be a rainbow fish in the ocean type of question. So, how my business partner and I found each other, the guy who founded Nerd It Now, who ended up teaming up as a partner and then becoming one of the guys who's on ABC Shark Tank. And we took the business from $157,000 in sales, and 12 months later, we're making $1 million a year in this little business that repairs phones and computers, okay? So one of the best ways to find a job in startup is basically, if you think about all these people who dream of being a part of a Silicon Valley team or joining an MIT research squad, okay, you need to really, really stand out and be above and beyond everybody else. I'm going to give an example of a collaboration we did with a guy named Nick Tran, okay? Nick Tran's never been on the stream. He doesn't know we're talking about him right now. I'm going to make sure that he knows. Here we are. Stream we're a minute and 13, 73 minutes, or an hour and 13, 73 minutes in. Can you write that down for me, please, Hamza? Let's let Nick Tran know that we're talking about him. We met Nick Tran. Okay, Nick Tran has a little engineering YouTube channel. But this guy's got nicktran.com, okay? He's got his portfolio on his own website. He's got his own blog, okay? He's got his own newsletter. He's got his own basically personal brand that I know how serious this young man is for the future of his career, and that's the type of person that you want on your startup team, okay? That's the type of person that you want on your team. There's a lot of people who are on this 1% Engineering YouTube team. A lot of them are right here on this call that exemplify the type of qualities that have stood out to me in a sea of 70,000 engineers, which is what our subscriber count boosted up to yesterday. By the way, 70,000 crossed the milestone yesterday, Hamza. You've been here since the beginning. Hamza, do you remember when it was before 100, or did you find me after 100? 100 subscribers? I think it was pre-100.
I think after 100.
Oh, okay.
I'm not fully sure. It was about April of 2017.
Oh, well, you
April
found me
29th.
before because it took me 4 months. I think it was from February to June. It took till June. But either way, you found it in the early days. And Hamza was one of those people who really stood out because he was like, hey, how can I help you? And then he wrote like 18 or 20 blog articles about biomedical engineering. We need to dig all those up and repurpose those, by the way. But anyway, you got to make sure, in order to stand out for a startup team, you got to make sure that you really are going above and beyond and you have more baller stuff going on than everybody else around you. It's basically that. It's basically that. Good question. We got a nice little list here, so I'm going to keep right on going unless you want to add something to that, Sadhu or Hamza. I know, Sadhu's back. Sadhu, you got something? Okay, cool. Hamza, anything? About standing out, maybe? You got something to add here?
I guess just ask. I mean, honestly, with you, Jake, it was just like I was just there at the right moment at the right time, and I just asked.
Yeah,
It's
but
that simple.
You asked, but then you delivered, bro. Like a lot of the people, I meet a lot of students who are like, hey, I want to join the team, and it's a bunch of I wannas, right? It's like I wanted this and I wanted that. And then you got to really show up and like perform. And it's not like perform,
Fair
but
enough.
it's just like invest the time, and you did. And I wasn't like, even though we're only talking 4 years ago at this point, 3.5, 4 years ago, I wasn't old enough and wise enough to realize like what that, like the signals that you were sending me at the time. And then, you know, I quit my corporate engineering job, joined Nerd It Now, and then here we are to revamp the channel and revamp the team and the community. And only now, it's taken me a bunch of time to appreciate like what that effort and that ambition and that hustle that you had. So that's the type of thing that you guys got to do, is you got to show up and put it all in. And if you don't have money or experience, what you have is time and grind and hustle. And that's why me and Sadhu were so heavily talking about like, hey, you want to make things happen. Like, are you the one candlelighting? Like, audit your own time, right? Like, are you showing up in ways that other people aren't willing to? Yeah, this is what you got to do for success. Let's see here. Noor, another question. You may not even be here anymore.
I'm going to get the next one.
Take it. Oh, yeah, you're taking this one. So this is a question
All
for
right,
Sadhu.
Noor
Take it.
Islam Kashif, Gates, Elon, Zuckerberg, and etc. can found a startup right after university without job experience. What is stopping me from doing the same? All right, well, thank you, Noor, for the question. Now, all right, I feel like this started off kind of like a loaded question in a way. Quite literally. There's a good joke there, you know. All three of those guys are loaded. Gates, Elon, Zuckerberg, but like, yeah, sure, they found a startup. All right, what's stopping you from doing the same? Short answer, like bar none, like nothing. Nothing really is stopping you from starting. Right? Like you can start anything, right? I started a YouTube channel. I've started two, right? Like you can start, but like I like that you have the end etc. there, because like in all honesty, like you heard about like Gates, Elon, and Zuckerberg, but you don't hear about like the countless others who have started it, right? Like it's hard. Like the market is saturated, and it's like a lot. Like it's like trying to start a YouTube channel and then like making it work, right? It's like trying to start a TikTok page and making it work, right? TikTok's a little bit easier to start and make work than YouTube right now, because YouTube has been going on for many years, right? There's so many people out there, right? So how many people do you think are out there like with the same ideas like you? Like, hey, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this, right? Everybody wants to do it, and few of them can. That's why you only know about Gates, Elon, and Zuckerberg. That's why we talk about them. They're like household names. And not saying that like you won't become one, right? Don't want to like shoot you down, but also like, you know, like you got to be like realistic too. So I guess that's what, like, nothing is stopping you, right? But there's a lot of other like barriers to entry, and there's a lot of other things that'll get in your way from like reaching that level.
The other thing I would add to that is Musk, Zuckerberg, and Gates. These people are anomalies. You know, everybody cites these people, but what they don't realize is you're not Bill Gates. You're not Mark Zuckerberg. These people have 150 IQ. They are anomalies by every measure that you can think of. You are not, if you're on this call, most likely you are the average person. I hate to break it to you like that, but that is the reality of the situation. That doesn't mean you can't get spectacular results in your career. But what that also means is you likely will not be a billionaire. I hate to break it to you. The chance of that happening is just not likely. But could you make 10 million, 100 million? Very likely. And not everyone needs to be a billionaire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
I love this. So I love that you guys are talking kind of like realistic numbers and data. Here's what I really want you to understand, Noor. Okay, Noor ul Islam, who asked this question. What do you think the average age? Here you go. Let's pull the crowd. Get your hand. Show me your hands, you three. So you don't cheat. All right. What do you think is the average age of a tech startup founder? Let's hear it. What's the average age of a tech startup founder?
40s.
Sadu?
47.
Oh, I was gonna say 45. Like 40s, 30s.
Yeah. Ashton?
I don't know. 33.
33 is a good number. That's how old I am right now. So you win, Ashton. Yeah. So
That's pretty much what I went for.
Yeah, love it. So it's 45. You guys are right, and I've read about how it's 47. So a lot of you guys think, the reason why I started with that is a lot of you guys think that it's the Zucks and the Instagram ages and these types of people who they drop out of Harvard, you know, and then they start Facebook or they start this next thing. Like, this is the poster child media story that they want you to get euphoric about and think that you can do it too. And these people sell
survivorship
this dream.
bias.
Yeah, exactly. These people sell this dream that, like, I can teach you how to do it too. And the reality is that, like Hamza and Sadu said, even if you are going to do something great, it's the chances of you actually zucking out this world is just not going to be the one. So what's stopping you? The question was, you know, what's stopping you from doing the same? Nothing. You know, but the chances of you actually doing it, if the average age is 45, that means there's a bunch of 65-year-old people who are making it work in order to offset the amount of people who are your age. So let's be realistic. Okay, let's go get that engineering degree and then go join a startup team, and don't try to start your own thing until you're 33. And that's what it is. Next question. The OG Nubs. Was starting a degree in civil engineering and a cert in occupational safety in January. How soon should I attempt to get my footing in once I start my degree? I need to read this twice because it's not really clear what they're actually asking about. Was starting a degree in civil engineering and a certification, don't really care about that, in January. How soon should I attempt to get my footing in? I don't know what that means. I guess that means getting an internship. I mean,
as soon as possible.
Start right away. Yeah, start right away. There's nothing stopping you. If you have to go lifeguard or work at a ice cream stand after your freshman year at university, that's what a lot of people did. I still worked as a camp counselor. I ran a summer camp after my freshman year, but then after sophomore year, so after my third and fourth semester, I was able to get an internship, and that's kind of the expectations I would have for you guys. Only are a freshman, can't get into an internship after your freshman year. Well, you can sign up for the 1% Engineer remote internship. So for the 33 of you watching this stream right now, we got pretty good stream numbers this whole time, guys. Steadily creeping up. It's been above the 30s for a long time. I don't know if you've been looking at it, but it's pretty solid. So go ahead and smash that like button if you've been here and you haven't already. You guys stick around for about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button. Make sure you join the Discord channel with the links in the description. And if you are having trouble in COVID-19 trying to get an internship, well, then you can get a 1% Engineer remote internship. And we're going to give
Jake,
you...
we forgot to mention Serena.
Serena's going to be coming on too. We're getting a lot of more questions and more pressure about, hey, you guys got to have some women in engineering on the stream. About half our team is women in engineering. You wouldn't know it from the live streams because they're never here, because half of them sit in West Africa and Egypt and Europe. And so right now it's a cool 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for them, so they're not on here. But we're going to figure out how to get Serena Yombe on the stream, who's over here, Drexel alum and in the Philadelphia area. So that's going to be fun for the future. Let's see here. WW27, your question. I have my master's in telecommunications engineering. Should I pursue a master's in systems engineering? I have no idea. So what you need to do is go get a job and go get some experience and then talk to some people who have the career direction of what you think you're trying to get your master's in, and then literally hear it from the horse's mouth and then make the decision yourself. I think it really is splitting hairs in terms of financial and that sort of thing. It's about interests. Are you interested in it enough to go get your master's degree, to Riverstone skip your career into the next step? But if you don't like it, you're going to end up pivoting anyway. So really go get a job in it before you just commit to a master's. Musab Lala, probably going to go till like 9:30, guys. So get in your questions. We can do a lightning round here at the end. Want to know the reason between engineering and math? I want to know the relation between engineering and math. I did 2 years in Algeria. I don't know. I feel the math is just practical. And okay, I'm not taking this question. I want to know the relationship between engineering and math.
I actually converted them, Jake.
Okay, so they're good. Yeah, because this question's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, Jake. Basically, what he wanted to know is which engineering field requires the most math and which ones don't.
Oh.
That's like engineering on mechanics, eh?
Yeah, I was about to say, how did you interpret that response? That's a tough one.
Electrical on mechanics.
Yeah, electrical's got a lot. Electrical's got a lot.
Mechanics win though.
Well, what's mechanics?
Mechanics have to do.
What do you mean?
Mechanics do a lot of physics.
Like okay, so technically, mechanics has partial differential equations, which electrical engineering does not have. But electrical engineering is more theoretical and more math overall. So I do think your major, Ashton, you take more math than a lot of others.
I'm sitting there and doing Laplace, and right now it's like second nature, so I'm kind of like, they be doing physics, dynamics, and all that, so that's kind of a lot of physics, you know?
Yeah, but it's not as much math. That's the thing, is that you haven't had as many physics and those types of like dynamic type courses, and so that seems daunting to you. But the math is like more theoretical and hard. You get into electricity and magnetism, mathematics, like. Your stuff you got to deal with is really tough. So, do you think Mossad has a good direction on this response now, Hamza? Did you take care of him in the chat?
To the best of my ability.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing.
Yeah, go ahead. I thought you had something to add. Go ahead, yeah.
Telecommunications, I heard that question coming up.
Yeah.
And this math question came up. Look, if you ain't ready to sit down and do integration all day, don't go telecommunications. That's a lot of filter like just figuring out the transfer function of a filter or any low pass, high pass filter. That's a lot. So yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Are you ready for that, Matt? Hey.
I love that insight. There is definitely a lot of value by having a mechanical engineering perspective, which is Hamza and Sadhu. I'm civil, and then Ashton with electrical. We really can cover a lot of ground here because I wouldn't have known how to like take a deeper dive into that. I love it. Anybody else before we move on to the next question? Let's get into lightning round here. Hamza, Sadhu.
And they're ready for the lightning round.
Lightning round. All right, Jeremy Galloway. What are your 3 favorite Arduino projects that are engineering focused? Hey, Ashton, I think this question's got to be you again.
I have an MSP. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys.
Show it.
I don't have an Arduino.
Show it.
I have an. Please get out of the box. So why are you like this? Okay, so I don't have an Arduino like most guys. I have a Texas Instrument MSP 430. I don't think y'all got to see it, but yeah, this is my Arduino, and this I usually do assembly language things in it. So for the most part, I am able to do a password. I am able to make LEDs blink and do a toggling function. I've seen some of my friends mess with the Arduino kit, and they've done some pretty cool things. I've seen someone do they code it whereas the lights come on depending on what voice they use. And that was pretty cool. Like if they screech, red light come on. If they do a low tone, blue light come on. And I personally know how to do it because this is me all day. But this little thing, and this isn't like that user.
Did we lose him? Oh, snap. His internet's usually fine. I'm going to assume he's frozen until he snaps back. All right, let's. Oh, you're
There
back.
we go.
You're back. You're back. We lost you for about 10 seconds. Just go back.
Uh, I was just say, I can't complain about the MS430 because that's for my class, but the Arduino, as in user-friendly, like things you can do with it, pretty nice,
Very cool.
very
Cool.
nice.
Cool. Keep the questions going. We actually have another. You're really popular here tonight, Astro. I'm a third year. This is Dylan's question. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Join us on Discord, guys. If you're new here, you only stick around for about, on average, 4 minutes and 29 seconds. There's been 514 people who've come by and checked this out. Even though it seems like it's the same 30 people the whole time, it's not. People come and go, and we might have like 4, 5, 6. Like Robert Torres probably isn't even here. But either way, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and join us in Discord. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. Ashton, got another electrical engineering question for you from Dylan.
Ooh.
And then after that, Guillermo, Clayton, and Tino Tata. Your questions are going to be answered. Drop them in the chat. We're going to do a flurry here before 9:30. But my girlfriend's visiting the neighbors, doing a little pizza party on Thanksgiving. And so maybe we'll keep going. Maybe we'll keep going
What's
past
Dylan's
9:30.
question?
Dylan's question is, I'm a third year electrical engineering student. How much of the math and physics that we learn in school is used on the job? What do you think, Astro? He's an electrical engineer.
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. With electrical engineering, you go a lot of places. If you're gonna go in telecommunications, a lot of your maths is gonna be used. From Laplace, integration, calculus 2, calculus 1. You will definitely use them to figure out the, like I said, well, when you're learning the filters, you have to learn the transfer functions. You have to learn how to do frequency responses, all that. I can go all day. I have that class now, and it's really hell. Besides that, if you're going into a more circuitry field, like I'd say power electronics, the math there isn't as daunting, but you still have to learn like you still have to know definitely a lot of math when it comes to like sinusoidal wave, a lot of trigonometry. So I'd say telecommunications is more calculus, with power electronics is more like trigonometry and basic calculus sometimes. But then like electrical engineering go a lot of places from that. So on the job, you might not have to retain all this theoretical knowledge, but you would definitely, or as in like formulas or whatever, but you would definitely have to know like, okay, this is why this act like that, and this would also say what's this thing gonna act like in the future. So there's something called the practical, and there's something called the theoretical. So me, like I say, when I do in theoretical, I use PSpice for most of my things. And then we realize some things you do in PSpice you can do in the real world. For example, a high pass filter, ideally it can go up to infinity. That's the amount of frequencies it can pass, right? In the real world, you cannot get infinite frequencies. You can only get like a very high number. So in theory and theoretical, you'll have ideal things, but in the real life and your real job, you'll have practical things, and they tend to work differently and sometimes similar to what you do in theory. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for adding that. I really don't have anything to add, but yeah, because I'm not an electrical engineer, so I really appreciate that. Thanks, Ashton. Let's see here. Clayton and Tino Tata and then Guillermo, thanks for dropping your questions. And then Zolkar, you're getting your question answered too. Go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already, guys. Clayton says, is a minor in nuclear worth it? No. So I really don't believe in minors or double majors because nobody in the industry cares, okay? You're not going to get picked. You're not going to get an opportunity based on your grades or the degree that you have. I mean, you could be an electrical engineer and do all of your relationship building and your networking and your sort of direction in your career with mechanical engineers and literally get a job as a mechanical engineer with an electrical engineering degree. Okay, I know plenty of people in mechanical and civil who have done this. I have lots of friends in my actual real life who've done this. And I know plenty of people who have a chemical engineering degree or some sort of engineering degree, and they end up all over the place. The degree doesn't matter, okay? And nuclear engineering is so, they're specifically asking about a minor in nuclear engineering. Nuclear engineering is so niche that it's like, you know, if you really are into it, let's just see. Bureau of Labor Statistics, nuclear engineering. I don't even know how many people are employed in that in the country, but if you are actually that into it, let's see, 16,000. So let's talk about this, guys. There's so few nuclear engineers employed, all right? There's only 33,000 chemical engineers, 19,000 biomedical engineers, and nuclear has a measly 16,000, whereas civil, electrical, and mechanical all have over 300,000. So you're sitting at 5%. 5% of the comparison to the big three. All right. So it's not even worth it for job prospecting and that sort of thing. You know, I know there's a lot of consideration for nuclear for the future, but you don't, the meat and potatoes answer is this: you don't need, on Thanksgiving, you don't need a minor in nuclear engineering to get a job as a nuclear engineer or in that sector. Okay. If you really are in love with it, get that nuclear engineering degree, but you really don't need it. So here we got Sadhu, who just turned his camera off, who wants this next question. I can save it for you, but I have a feeling you're in earshot. Otherwise, I'll go into Guillermo's question. I can't find a job in the industry I want. Aerospace. Thank you for adding that context, Guillermo. I love that. I just need that reminder. With my bachelor's, should I jump to a master's? I recently graduated, and I'm having a hard time being able to just break into the industry to acquire experience. So that master's degree is not necessarily going to be like a silver bullet or a magic pill for you to get a job. You're still going to find yourself, if you have the same amount of contacts and the same resume and that sort of thing, it's going to be just as challenging for you to get a job right now if you have a master's degree. I think you need to drop into the chat what you've been doing for a networking strategy and what have you been doing now, rather than just applying to jobs. Like, what are you doing? Are you emailing people? Are you asking for introductions? Are you doing informational interviews? Are you going out to job and career fairs and following up? Are you actually calling and making sure that your resume was seen? Are you emailing to get an answer and a no instead of just a no text back type of situation? Like, what are you really doing? Because I guarantee you're not doing even half of the stuff that I suggested. And if you were, you'd eventually hammer your way into the industry. I see Hamza over there shaking his head. What do you got? Anything to add, Hamza?
I mean, we literally talked about this, I think, this past Monday. But yeah, I mean, I know I have family friends within my parents, like, you know, because of our visa and immigration situation, many of them can't get internships. And I know that, like, one of my family friends' daughter is graduating this semester, and she's already gotten like interviews with companies for people in her field, and she's doing like some kind of biological research type stuff. So she's looking for research type positions, and she's been on interviews. So yeah, I would agree with Jake. It's all about like just showing up, grinding on the networking side of things and the application side of things properly.
Yeah, man. Sadhu, got anything to add to that? Word? Sounds good. Oh, yeah, Sadhu, here's a good
No, not really, but I can get right into the next
you wanted the
Tino Tenda's question.
Yeah. Take it away. Read it out if you want. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Tino Tenda, Nigel Shigome. Like, we have so many people with such cool names on the show.
Right?
Like,
right? Seriously.
Mine is just like nothing compared to like all of these guys. It's crazy. So Tino Tenda says, "Hi, folks. Does internship really matter when looking for jobs after graduation? Do employers really look into that?" And then follow up, when they say work experience required, does it have to be engineering related work experience? I'm a general machine operator at some manufacturing company. Will that count as work experience? So first, when talking about does the internship really matter when looking for jobs after graduation? So first, I would say companies want some sort of like someone to vouch for you, all right? And that's what the biggest thing about like experience is. Like, sure, like, yes, like you need to know how to do things. They need to know that you're competent on the job, that you have some skills and that you can actually perform. Which is why they say like, you know, getting that first internship is probably like the hardest thing, because you go from like zero experience, and then like somebody has to like deem you worthy enough. Like they have to say like, okay, we see enough quality and like value in you that like you can like work with us, and like we'll give you a position, right? You can do stuff for us, and like that'll be like your stepping stone, your building block for you to go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So yeah, work experience required. Does it have to be engineering related? Honestly, like Jake, you could add on to this, but like I honestly don't think that, like, yes, like it probably should be. Like it looks like if you're a machine operator at a manufacturing company, like it has to do with engineering. But like if it's not directly, like you just need to like in your interviews or when you're like talking with people, find a way to really like spin it in a way that like you show your value to whoever is hiring you. Like, sure, you may not be like directly in this engineering field, but like show how your position, like show how you can like, you know, bring value to this. You know, like we've talked about before, like you gotta like make yourself stand out, like all that.
Right. The other thing I would add to that, there's a couple things. Try to make this fast is the reason why for new graduates, many companies are not willing to take a risk, especially if you don't have experience, is because if you don't turn out well, the downside is very high. Like typically, I don't know what the exact statistics are, but for every bad hire, it costs like 5x of the amount of salary that they paid out to it. That is a huge risk for a company, especially a startup. So that is why like, you know, a lot of times job seekers will say, man, if a company only gave me a chance, I would show how valuable I am.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Even that's really risky. No, it's absolutely right. The biggest loss for any company, not to mention a startup company that has no resources and a very small
And time
staff.
and energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's because think about it, guys. They're going to pay you who provides no value so that's a big loss, and then they're going to pay somebody else who's worth way more than you to then pay them to teach you. Okay, so there's no return on that investment, and they have the opportunity cost of that person not participating in an engineering product or an engineering project or anything. So it's 3 types of loss. Okay, 3 types of loss. So yeah, it is very detrimental. I like that 5x.
Yeah, it's like simple economics, right?
Yeah.
Like marginal costs, and like you have to be worth it.
Yeah.
Like the marginal benefit has to like equal or be greater.
Yeah, so I'm sure that there's a study that laid out the 5x sort of loss. I'm not surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't 10x type of loss. That if you were making 15, 25, let's call it $25 an hour as an engineering intern or whatever, you're probably losing $250 an hour for that company. It's probably what it is. So I like that.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else to add there, guys? Go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing I would add, and Sadhu kind of mentioned this like in a more general way, but the concrete term for like one thing I want you guys to understand is when you're in an interview or whatnot, or like in a networking situation, there are social dynamics at play. And if you play the dynamics properly, and you could learn how to do this by Googling online and getting the right information, you can create a situation where you stack the deck in your favor. So as an example, when you go into the interview, there's a concept in sales called the buyer-seller dynamic. Meaning, when you're interviewing for a company, especially as a new grad, you are in the seller position. That's inevitable. You want to get to the buyer position as fast as possible. Why? Because the buyer position has the power. The buyer position can literally just sit back and make a decision. The faster you flip that dynamic, the better off you are. And there are many ways to do it that I'm not qualified to teach you. But I want to just throw this in the back of your mind.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that. Sounds good. We've got a couple more questions here. Let's get big flurry for the grand finale later round. We have 36 people in here sitting around for about 5 minutes on average. 570 people have stopped by. So if you are new, make sure you smash the like button on the stream and hit the notification bell with the subscribe button. Go ahead and follow the links to the Discord channel where you can join 850 engineers and drop your questions in the chat all day long, and we can answer your things. You can also have your whatever you're trying to figure out queued up for next live stream, which we do this every single week at 8 p.m. Eastern time. A couple more questions coming up. Frederico Zolkar and Samuel Butts. That's a good name. Samuel Butts. Leah Kai, if you're listening to the stream right now, your name should be Leah Butts, okay? Said that on the internet. That's what it is. Frederico, question is, hello, have you heard about the engineering science degree? No, I haven't. Or do you know how it's different from other engineering degrees? If one of you three wants to Google that real quick and maybe get back to us with a little response. I have not heard of engineering science. I mean, there's things like materials science engineering and that sort of thing, but I think that this is a new sort of hybrid engineering type of STEM engineering degree, so I don't know enough about it. Even new sort of industries like mechatronics isn't really built out in a way that has been fully established. So I really don't think we're going to find a lot here for momentum and sort of suggestions around this being a comparable major to engineering, but maybe. So if one of you, Hamza, I'm looking at you, if one of you wants to check this out, engineering science degree, never heard of it. Zolkar's question is, I want to know how much of physics and calculus is in civil engineering. Great, I'll take this. So civil engineering, I'm a civil engineer. That's what I studied in undergraduate and graduate school. And so civil engineering most likely has the least amount of heavy theoretical math and the least amount of physics of all the engineerings. Why? Because if you think about the big three, civil, electrical, mechanical, civil, nothing's moving, okay? You have a bridge or a building or some sort of physical infrastructure where nothing's moving, okay? And with mechanical engineering, you almost always have something that is in a system where it is moving. It's a part or a system or an engine or thermal ecosystem, or you have heating and ventilation and air conditioning within a building. Everything's moving, okay? Everything's moving. It's more complicated. The mathematics is complicated. And because things are moving, you have heat, okay? I didn't have to take a thermodynamics course, all right? Mechanical engineers do. And then finally, I think electrical engineering is a little harder than mechanical engineering. They get paid a little bit more. They get more theoretical math. They don't have to take partial differential equations like mechanical engineers do. But I've done a really nice deep dive here lately at electrical versus mechanical, and the community does really suggest that if you are a beast at the electricity and magnetism, which is where physics is very theoretical, and if you really like math, then why not just be an electrical engineer, because you get paid more, it's a little bit harder, and it's a little more future proof, right? Like, let's be serious, guys. Think about this. You know, this smartphone has only been around for 13 years, okay? And so what is it going to be like in another 13 years or another 26 or another 39 years? This physical component stuff is going to zero, okay? And this is another reason why electrical engineering and working with nanobots and electricity and systems, this type of approach is going to be a little stronger for the future. And you see the interest and you see the payment and you see the difficulty reflected in that reality. Any electrical or mechanical engineers have anything to add to that? You three? Word, that's what it is. All right, we only got two more questions here. Samuel Butts and then Austin Live Say. Your questions are coming up next. Guys, I have really enjoyed this live stream. If you can see the graph, we dropped the chat 10 minutes before there was like 8, 9, 10 people waiting with us. And we really have maintained like 35 people for an hour and a half straight. It's been really cool. We got 585 people who have come by for at least 5 minutes to chat with us. So I really appreciate you, 1% Nation. This has been an awesome project. It's been a little nostalgic over the ending of 2020 for me because we're coming up at a 4-year anniversary next spring, and in just a couple months. It's going to be a 4-year project that was on hiatus for about half of it because I had to leave my corporate engineering career behind to do some cool things like join a startup and end up on ABC Shark Tank, start a speaker coaching business, become a TEDx producer, and do all types of cool things like make 134 episodes with you, 1% Nation. And I would not have been able to do that if I was still working as a corporate engineer. So I really love all of you, this team. That's why Hamza, Sadhu, and Ashton are here right now. Would not have been able to do anything without you guys. So on this day of thanks, on this day of Thanksgiving that I really, have a conflicted relationship with, I'm really grateful for all of you who are here with us, the 36 people, 33 of you on the stream, and the 3 of you that are here right now on this actual Google Hangouts. Thank you so much. Really had a good time here tonight. So get your final questions in the chat so we can actually get this stuff wrapped up here. Love it. Really appreciate that. Zolkar, Samuel, Butts, and Austin. I guess, Zolkar, we already hit your question. Samuel Butts, how important is your LinkedIn for engineering connections? I'm not going to freak out too much from this question, but LinkedIn is really important. I don't know if somebody wants to take the heat off of this right now and talk about LinkedIn. Yeah, somebody take this away.
I'll take the heat off.
Before I blow up over here. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like, are you a millennial? Like, do you have Snapchat? Like, do you have Instagram? Like, it's like, if you're a millennial and you don't have those things, like, it's like an engineer without LinkedIn. Like,
I can
why?
sum it up in 3 words.
Let's hear it.
It's legit
Okay,
Facebook for jobs.
Facebook for jobs, bro.
Yeah, Facebook for jobs. Exactly.
Yeah, get on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you don't have a LinkedIn, what are you doing?
Yeah, Google my name, all right, and look at the LinkedIn and just copy it, all right? Make a cool background. Think about the 5, 6 little big keywords that you have, like mechanical engineer and then automotive focus and engineers without borders. Like, put all the flashy things, link all of your universities, have a fancy headshot, and then release articles. Honestly, I really like LinkedIn. We haven't gotten too many questions about that, about how to release content and how to stand out that way, probably because I haven't talked about it as much. But that's what I use LinkedIn for, is to stand out, and you can show your projects and show your work. And it's more than just being an online resume, honestly. Like, that question, you don't know what you don't know yet, so get on LinkedIn and go, and you'll be great. And connect with us three. Go ahead and drop your LinkedIn profiles, your links in the chat if you three want to. Go ahead. Lightning round. Thank you, Samuel Butch, for that question. Austin, live say, I'm a freshman in college going for aerospace engineering.
Chris has a good question.
Who? Robert? Oh, Robert's back. Yeah, we can jump over to Robert's question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you find the perfect career with so many options?
Yeah, how do you find the perfect career with so many options?
Do you want to start? Hamza? Go ahead. Take it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just get a list of things that intrigue you. Pick one, do it for a certain amount of time. If you like it, great, continue. If you don't, pick the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Just get started.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like...
And build skills.
So here's the thing. So Robert Torres and I know that Robert is deeply passionate about aerospace engineering. And so I guess maybe he's throwing out a question that isn't as much as applicable to himself right now. But I mean, I wouldn't even want to ask you, Robert. Like, I know that you have arrived on aerospace engineering as being something that has piqued your interest. Just like what Hamza said, is what intrigues you. How do you spend your time? You have to become self-aware.
Hey, Kevin's in the house.
Kevin,
what's up, Kevin?
We were emailing Kevin, and he was like, he sent that super apologetic email, right? And I was like, chill, bro. Like, it's fine. What was that about, Kevin? Like,
No, he owned up to it. I'm proud of him, man.
But I'm confused.
We appreciate it, but like, honestly, me, you, and Hamza, we forget about shit all the time. We forget about stuff all the time.
It's okay.
And
Demonetized because of you. No, it's fine.
Good job, Sid.
No, it's fine. I don't care. No, I don't even understand. What was that? What was that email about? Kevin was like, like, did he miss a meeting with us? I'm confused. Like, what was the deal?
I guess he just didn't respond to the email like we did. Like, we just said, like, hey, like, Kevin, I remember you. Or like, hey, Kevin, nice to meet you.
It's ridiculous.
And then he didn't say anything. We're like, it's fine.
It's fine, bro. Like, we had me and Ashton had a meet and greet call with Kevin this week. Like, Ashton, how many days ago was that? It was only a couple. So, like, it was Monday, wasn't it? Or Tuesday?
It was Monday.
Yeah, dude. Kevin, you have nothing to worry about, okay? Like,
Wait, that's Savage Trojan?
Yeah, Savage. That's Savage. You're fine, dude. He said, dude, are you CC'd on that email? He was like so apologetic. Listen, I know that you're young and you haven't like been in enough situations to know that, like, bro, like, it's like not responding to an email is not that big a deal, man. Don't worry about it, dude. Like, just you saying that makes me understand how valuable you see your opportunity with us. And just to give you guys 1% Nation some context, so we have a full team behind this show and channel, okay? You're looking at 3 of like 8, 9, 10 core team members and board members who each kind of have either their own project or their own responsibility or something that they're working on within 1% Engineer. Let me give you some options, or let me give you some examples. Astro over here is the director of Discord. He runs the community, which is He runs the community, which is 850 engineers, and so if you interact with us on Discord, you know Astro, okay? Hamza's been around for almost 4 years. He's done all types of stuff. He's the director of operations, helps me out with all types of things. And yeah, almost 4 years. And right now, him and Sadhu are sort of leading up this 1% Engineer remote internship program that we're building, so your identities are both wrapped up within that. Sadhu has been a jack of all trades within the team and done things like edit videos and manage other video producers, along with teaming up with Hamza to work on this remote engineering internship thing. So again, I've already gotten like 4 emails about being on this short list of 50 people or a few more of that who actually can be part of this pilot program for the 1% Engineer internship program. So go ahead and send me an email about that. I'm going to drop that in here one more time. But there are people who are actually helping out on Discord, and that's what we're talking about. That is Kevin. He is going to be our software engineering connoisseur. We're going to give a team of 4 to back up Astro, and so we're going to have a civil, mechanical, electrical, and a software engineering person who are responding to questions, who's there for you, and that's what he's talking about, because Kevin is going to be our first software expert in that arena. And just because you didn't respond to an email right away doesn't mean we hate you, bro. Honestly, it's laughable because, like, man, I will miss meetings here and there, you know? I would, like, totally forget or like, double schedule things, you know? Like, it's okay, Kevin. It's okay, bro. Don't worry. And I think
like, if anything, it just shows how much you care. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. But don't worry, man. We're not going to crucify you, man. It's all good, bro. It's all good. So a couple grand finale questions here, and then we'll move right through into the end of this stream. So Austin finally says, a freshman in college going for aerospace engineering. I was told of an engineering leadership minor. What? I would give
Hello?
Who? What? Hello? It would give me teamwork and management experience. Should I pursue the minor? No. I don't believe in minors. Nobody cares about your minor. I mean, only unless you can say, for example, as an engineering student at my university, I could have taken like 1 or 2 additional math courses, and I would have been able to minor in mathematics, and maybe that was cool. But if you, I only think it's cool if you can do it in the same amount of time and not add an extra semester. You know, you add an extra semester, it could be extra $25,000, $35,000, depending on what your tuition is. If it's 0, if you have full funding, and you don't have to add additional time, which even if you have full funding and say you look for an excuse to find another minor, it's an opportunity cost in that salary. You're basically losing. If you take an extra semester, you're losing like 30 grand, okay? Even if it's free. So I don't agree with minors. Nobody cares about those minors. What they care about is the experience that you have and the people that you know. Okay, grand finale. Get your questions in here. We only got 2 more.
Go ahead. Let me
Sanu.
add on top of Jake's. So one of my good friends, Flo, he is a aerospace engineer at Purdue, and he actually is doing just like this similar. He's doing a minor. Instead of engineering leadership, this is in global engineering. And basically to do that, you have to like do study abroad, like 2 semesters, and then you have to take like 1 or 2 like just like small like 1 credit hour classes where you basically talk about like that experience. And,
did you hear me say Leah Kai on the stream?
I did.
Something like that. So you know, like if it's something that like studying abroad is something that you want to do,
it was a coincidence.
Can do, then like go for it, right? It's like another little.
I think I filled up this water.
Like you're getting the engineering degree, you're getting experience and all that stuff.
How's
so
that?
The minor is
he's
just
got
kind of
radio
like
voice.
bells and whistles. It's just a little like gravy, you know.
Yeah,
on
we've
top.
actually talked about this a
So,
lot, and I sent him a recorder in the mail.
It doesn't matter
and
all that
he
much.
has like been working out, narrating some scripts.
Yeah, you know, if it floats your boat, like if you really want to do it, like you can, but it wouldn't be like a real like feather in your hat, like something that really like will. It's not going to make or break the job interview. You know, it's not going to be the deciding factor.
Well, Hamza, what do you got to add to that? I saw you.
What?
Oh, nothing. Okay, no, I thought you had something to add to that. Very awesome. My girlfriend says that you have a great radio voice, Hamza, so there it is. All right, I think we only have one more question. Ashton, do you have anything to add to that about minoring? Yep, he says, hey, thanks. Hey, Ashton, do you have anything to add to that about minoring? Do people minor? Your engineering friends, is minoring a thing, or like what's your attitude about that?
No, only thing you do is double major. We don't respect that.
Double major? Yeah, well, they double major in electrical engineering and computer engineering by taking an extra single class, right?
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends did. She's kind of like a math head. I don't know why. I don't know why she did it. She went for a math degree. I'm not sure why. I still question her to this day. She hates it every day, mind you. She always complains about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. You chose to be a mathematician. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah.
Yeah,
it ties into what she want to do, and like she says, if engineering don't work out, she could just work in a bank or something. And I'm like, okay,
maybe, sure. I mean,
could I just say what a savage you are, Ashton? Like what a savage.
What I do?
for saying that. It's like that's your fault
Yeah.
for choosing that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
like
your
you
fault.
chose that.
That's exactly her fault. I mean, honestly, it gets right back hand in hand for what we were talking about earlier in the sense that electrical engineering takes so much freaking math that you actually can double major in math by taking just a few extra math courses. I had a friend who did it, and same thing with electrical and CPEG, computer engineering. They really are super duper similar. They can probably hear you on stream. So you need to make sure that you're not wasting your time. And if you are going to double major or minor in something, then you do something that overlaps so thoroughly. So we've got a couple more questions here, and then we're going to wrap this up. Wow, we're actually pushed it to an hour 45. This is awesome. Thank you guys for being here, Hamza, Sadhu, and Ashton, for being a part of this stream. I know you guys commit a lot of time to this. We already got to Robert Torres's questions. They can definitely hear you on stream, Leo. You're being really loud. Do mechatronics engineers deal with a lot of technology? Absolutely. So this is RM's question. Mechatronics engineering is sort of that amalgamation between electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. And so what I really like about that is for people who aren't really sure about just really committing to mechanical engineering, really there's this community that wants to work on robotics, okay? And so you have people who are more into coding or signals and controls, and those people who maybe even love math, who should be electrical engineers, who want to go into a mechatronics or a robotics type of avenue, and you have that. Or you could be on the mechanics side, okay? You could work with the components and think about physically designing the parts that go into a robot. And so do mechatronics engineers deal with a lot of technology? Absolutely. I see either one of those degrees being able to work with a multitude of technologies, and you can do so. The reason why I'm answering this question in this way is you can do so in so many different fashions, okay? And the person on this team who's been interested in mechatronics the longest, in my opinion, has been Hamza. I mean, he wrote the script for the latest What Do Mechatronics Engineers Do video. So if you want to add anything to that, Hamza, go ahead. Do mechatronics engineers deal with a lot of technology? It almost is like a question that precedes itself.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. I was going to say, I think you put it in better terms. Thank you for putting it like that, because I was going to be a bit harsher. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, what were you going to say? Now I want to know.
I was going to say that's a dumb question.
Hamza's going to be mean. Okay, but skip over that.
I mean, it's like you're an engineer. Of course, you're dealing with technology.
Yeah.
And you call me the savage?
Yeah.
I'm just out there
Right? Yeah.
crushing people's dreams.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So before we're going to do this last question,
what you get.
We're going to do this last question here, which Sadhu is going to take away. If you guys,
got it. Tino Tenda,
go ahead.
You're back.
Go ahead.
Tino Tenda, Nigel Chigome, dude. Why don't you just go by Nigel? Nigel's such a cool name. All right. Most jobs you can do with chemistry can be done with either engineering disciplines too. Unless you don't want to seem like a 70-year-old British guy or something, right? Engineering disciplines too. Looking at Bureau of Labor Statistics (BLS), there's more civil and mechie employed. Does this mean employers prefer more of the mechie to chemie? So yeah. So we can. All right, so first, preferring mechanical engineering to chemical engineering, obviously, engineers, across the board, skilled in math and physics and science, there's a foundation that, all majors have to do, right? And then chemie is a little more specialized in that. So is electrical, right? So is civil. So, yeah, there would be, just across the board more mechanical engineers kind of employed than the other majors, and you can look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics about that, but do they prefer mechanical engineering to chemical engineering? It's based on the employer, because it's just whatever that company does, whatever they need, you can't just say across the board that that's the case. Sure, across the board, mechanical engineering would be the most basic, the most fundamental engineering, and then everything's just a more specialized form of that. So you can't really say that they prefer it to another, but it just depends on what company you're going for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you got to look at it like a supply and demand problem. Okay, so it's not that people prefer, just to harmonize what's to do. It's not that people prefer. It's that there's enough industry demand to hire 300,000 mechanical engineers in the country, and there's enough industry demand to hire about 10% of that, or 33,000 chemical engineers in this country, okay? And so that's just what it is. And then we have this thing that we've developed over here in the data analysis of 1% Engineer Show. It's what we call saturation ratio of engineering degrees. So if there's only 33,000 chemical engineering degrees that chemical engineering full-time hires that exist in America, and 2 years ago they gave out 11,000 chemical engineering degrees in 1 year, which is something I discovered on a website. Like, that shows absolute industry saturation for chemical engineers. And this is a big issue, okay? And so when you have these niche ecosystems like biomedical engineering, which only hires 19,000, or nuclear engineering, which only hires 15,000, again, chemical engineering, which only hires 33,000, you have less of an opportunity to get that one job. You have 10% of the jobs, because this is just how much demand is out there for that expertise, right? Everything in the world needs a physical component to be designed. That's why a mechanical engineer is involved with everything. Like this doorknob right here. Mechanical engineers designed this. There was no chemical engineer involved here, right? So this is just what it is. So it's the way that you're looking at it is a little bit interesting. And that's the last question I have here in our document. I don't know if there's a couple things piling in. What we really should do is.
All right, can I piggyback just add a little bit?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I used to be chemical engineer, right?
Yeah.
The chemistry was difficult. It's not my best subject, but also like there was some advising thing, and they made me like think that I had to take a hard class. And then I ended up not doing well in the hard one. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm doing mechanical engineering, right? But I'm still like interested in chemical engineering field. Like I'm like my plan right now is like I'll do like mechanical engineering, and then I want to do like material science and like really like apply like chemical engineering into like making like environmentally like sustainable materials and like different kind of like cool things like that. So like you can still like do your like mechanical engineering degree, like whatever degree you want, but then like if you want to go like higher education, like like masters, like go further after like working and like seeing what you like want to do, that that's kind of like my goal. So like you don't have to be like a chemie, you don't have to be something, right? I feel like the engineering degree is like it's like a degree, and you'll go work in that job, and see how you like it. But it's not like the end all be all. You can go forward. Like people change their focuses, right?
Yeah, I agree. Ashton, did you have a breakthrough over there in whatever you're working on? I saw you celebrate. What's going on?
Oh yeah.
Share your win with us.
I haven't finished it yet because I took in the shortcut route, but
show us.
Let me see if I get this working first of all. So this is pretty much a DC motor, a basic one, very basic one. There's my magnet, power supply is back there, and this is my motor, essentially, right?
Okay.
So I have to figure out. Let me see something. I think if I just pull it this way, as you can see, it's like. If you see it moving, that's because it's legit feeling the. Oh, I can almost make it spin.
That's what you're trying to do, right?
Robert Torres.
Let me see if I can turn it this way. Boom. That's too far.
I see Robert's question.
Oh, we can get the Robert's first. I'll be here like all week.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm about to roll too, so probably we'll take Robert's question as the last one, and then maybe Austin, we can get to yours as well. So Austin, you're the grand finale question. Robert's is. How has the process of checking a future employee / intern social media changed in the past 5 years? I mean, bro, like everybody looks at people's social media. Like if I'm going to actually interview you for something as an engineering employer, they're definitely going to check your Facebook, your Instagram, and your LinkedIn. They really should. So it's a huge part of the decision-making process. It's not that they're like looking at your social media. I should rephrase that. It's not a huge part of the decision-making process, but it will be included in almost every decision-making process. They're going to look at your social media to see who you are as a personal brand, how you carry yourself, and really how you're going to exemplify their company out there in the world. Because if you're like going to crazy parties and showing it or living some ridiculous risque lifestyle, then they probably are going to second guess you. And so a lot of people are a little bit hesitant with any sort of professional career to put like crazy party lifestyles or like their content with them at Burning Man or Coachella. They might not want to put that stuff on their personal social media. Me, I don't give up. Don't get demonetized. And I would put that on my social media and not care because, you know, just like this beard, like whatever I want to do in my personal life, if it's not illegal, then I want to be a part of an organization who supports that and who I am as a person. So it kind of gets into like personal cultural sort of views and attitudes. You know, do you need to cater who you are for your employer, or do you want an employer who accepts you for
Or just
you?
use Snapchat.
Yeah, or just use Snapchat so it's gone and you don't have to worry about it, Robert. So it is what it is. Okay, Austin, seriously, this is the last question. Austin Live say, thanks. I'm at Penn State, and I think there are broad opportunities within the minor. Okay. I think you can you can do study abroad without being in the minor, right? I mean, like, think about how you're becoming a sucker for the system, all right? They've convinced you need a minor, and they've convinced you need to study abroad. You are just like a poster child for spend as much money at university as you possibly can. So if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Like, getting a minor is not going to hurt you, okay? Studying abroad is not going to hurt you. But do you need it, and is it the fastest path and the most economical and the least energy path to success? No, I don't think so. But like, you sound like you're trying to convince me that this is good for you and convince yourself that it's good for you. So just do it, bro. Just go. It's fine. And I was just talking to Penn State's director, Dr. Says, the architectural engineering director there, and I really agree with Penn State and what they're doing, and I really support the legacy programs that are there. So that minor may open up opportunities for you. That study abroad might be great for your career. So just do it, man. Like, trust your instincts. Like, I can already sense that you're like trying to convince yourself that this is it. Just go, bro. Just go. There's no right answer besides the thing that's actually calling home to you. So what we're going to do here, guys, we're going to save your questions for next Thursday. Those of you who have gotten in here, clip this stream right at 10 o'clock. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure that you hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss future live streams that we do every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we release videos. We're going to come out with one tomorrow. I thought maybe it was going to come out yesterday, but we held it off in the essence of the Thanksgiving break week. This is the 1% Engineer Show Live, where we inspire and empower young engineers to rise to the top 1% of their career. Go ahead and follow the links to the Discord channel where you can join 850 engineers. I want to give 3 very big special shout outs. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, Sadhu. Thank you, Astro, for being a part of this stream tonight. You guys are rock stars. 1% Nation over here in the live chat. The 32 of you who are here, we had 709 people stop by and visit us tonight, guys. That is awesome. That's the level of impact that you guys had. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you in another video. If you want to be a part of the 1% Engineer remote internship program, send us an email. We're going to drop it in the chat one more time. We're only going to take 50 people. So if you want to be a part of the pilot program, make sure you email over the weekend. Thanks for coming out. You guys have any closing remarks or want to say anything, you three? Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like last 3 questions, AJ, Musab, and Jeremy, we will start off the next stream with those questions.
Yep.
We have them saved.
Yep, thank you.
So, check back in next Thursday, and we'll kick it right off with those.
That's
right? Thanks for the
addition.
question.
Thanks for having us, Jake.
Yeah, thank you for being here, guys. I keep always wanting to say that like Hamza's the official co-host, and I always forget. But it is what it is. I mean, I like to think that you get enough of the shout outs and the OG 4 years ago type stories so that people know that you're a star over here. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. It's always so funny after you stream with people for 2 hours. It's like, man, I don't even want to end this. Still got 29 people in here. Ashton, do you have any final remarks or any project updates for the community? I see you over there, bro. Look at him. Getting in the grand finale here. You're on mute if you're saying anything.
This is it, like, entirely on its own. Like,
This is cool.
moving, because I just gave a little kickstart, and it just... Oh, I know it went wrong. I just don't have time to correct it.
Right.
Basically... wrong way. Basically, how a motor works, you have commutator rings, Me, I use improv split commentators. That means there's a little air gap between them, the installation parts. And I probably end up putting the installation either too close, that's why it's not catching and flipping over, or I put them too far and the current doesn't run through completely. So yeah, that is me.
Awesome,
But
awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
definitely have some fun to show next week.
Yep, thanks for that grand finale. So for you guys who are still in here, thanks so much. Make sure you hit that subscription button. We're going to be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday, November. It's not even going to be November, is it? It's going to be December something. I don't know what the date is, but we'll see you there. Check out the Discord. Make sure you join the Discord links so that you can drop your questions in and beat the queue for next week live stream. Thanks again, 1% Nation. Love you so much. We'll see you again in another video. Bye-bye. See you guys. Thanks, Hamza. Thanks, Sadu. Thanks, Ashton.
Bye, everyone.
Peace
Have a great
out.
week.
See you, 1% Nation. What does my shirt say? Omega Project. It's a run company that was a